Okay, so we have now lesson 2 from the chapter 10 ratio booklet, finding 10%, 50% and 1%. So part A, to find 10%. How do we find 10% of something? Well, to find 10%, what we would do is, well, we know 10% is 10 out of 100, yeah? And if I was to simplify this fraction, divide top and bottom by 10, okay, I would get 1/10. And how do I find 1/10 of something? I divide by 10. So I want you to write this down. So the key fact here, to find 10% of something, you divide by 10. Okay, to find 10%, you divide by 10. So examples. If I was to find 10% of 80, all I do is divide 80 by 10 to get 8. So I want you to write a couple of these key examples. So to find 10% of 3 kilograms, I just divide 3 by 10 to get 0.3 kilograms. Remember, when I'm dividing this, if you remember, you would have 3.0. Remember, you've got units, tens, tenths. Okay, when you're dividing, all the numbers shift one place to the right to get 0.3. Okay, again, all the numbers here, when I'm dividing by 10, all the numbers move one place to the right to make them smaller. So I'll have 0.25 kilograms. So dividing by 10, I'll just show you that one again. Okay, so I've got 2.5. So all the numbers move one place this way and when you're dividing by 10. Right, so there's 3 examples on how to find 10%. So I would like you now to pause the video, have a go please at these 6 questions on dividing by 10. Okay, so here are the answers. Divide by 10, 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 divide by 10. So that's, I haven't put my units in, but you can put your units in there to get the answers. Okay, so next part of this lesson, part B. When you are asked to find 50% of a number, what do you do? Okay, so to find 50%, we know that 50%, if I was to change that to a fraction, 50% is 50 out of 100, or 5 out of 10, or 1 out of 2. So it's the same as a half. And how do I find half of something? I divide by 2. So write that key fact down. To find 50%, you are halving, because it's half of 100%. So let's have a go at 3 examples to put in your book. Find 50% of 200. So I do 200, I half it, I'll get £100. Okay, I want to half this one here. So if you can't do it in your head, you can use the bus stop method for dividing by 2. 2 into 4 goes 2, 2 into 8 goes 4, 2 into 6 goes 3. So half of 486 is £243. Next question 3, to half 9045, I'm going to use bus stop method. 2 into 9 goes 4, remainder 1. 2 into 10 goes 5. 2 into 4 goes 2. 2 into 5 goes 2. Now I've got a remainder here, so let's put some noughts down. So 2 into 5 goes 2, remainder 1. 2 into 10 goes 5. So my answer is £4,522, and because it's money, I'm going to put 50 pence. Okay, and part C of my video now is how do I find 1% of something? Well, 1%, write this key fact down, means 1 out of 100. So to find 100th, so this is to find 100th of something, what do? Well, I divide by 100. Okay, so to find 1%, I divide by 100. So that's your key fact for part C. So to find 1% of 400, I divide by 100. So I get 4. To find 1% of 8, well, I'm dividing 8 by 100. And remember, if you think about your decimal place, okay, I've got 8.0. If I'm dividing by 100, the numbers move twice now to the right, so I will get 0.08. So draw yourself out a number line, okay, if it helps you, and move all the numbers twice, and you will get 0.08, dividing by 100. Right, okay, so we've got lots of key facts in our books, well done. I would like you now to have a go at these 6 questions. I want you to pause the video, please. Try those 6 questions, and I will go through the answers. Okay, so question 1. To find 10%, I divide by 10. To find 50%, I divide by 2. To find 1%, I divide by 100. Okay, so the key facts there, remember, 10% divide by 10. 50% divide by 2. 1% divide by 100. Those are your key facts for this part of the lesson. Right, so to find 10%, I divide by 10. This I'm dividing by 10. To find 50%, I divide by 2. So using a bus stop method or in your head, 6.5. To find 1%, I divide by 100. Okay. Right, part D, the last part of the lesson. Getting a little bit harder now. Okay. Part D. Now you're given the answer. You're told 50% of a number is 20. So what is this number? Okay. Now to find 50%, I know I'm halving. So half of this number is 20. Well, I know half of 40 is 20. I know that because I just doubled 20 to get 40. Okay, next one. 10% of a number of something is 3. Now to find 10%, I divide by 10. So this number divided by 10 is 3. So the number must be 30. 30 divided by 10 is 3. How did I get that? I did the opposite and I times by 10. Okay, last one. 1% of a number is 2. To find 1%, I divide by 100. So what number divided by 100 is 2, or 200. How did I work that out? I did the opposite. Okay, I'll just write this down here. So write those into your book, those 3 examples. Pause and write those down. That was the hardest part of today's work. Okay. So there are 5 questions now for you to have a go at. Okay, so pause the video again. Have a go, please. This is the hardest part of the work. Have a go at these 5 questions and I will go through the answers. Okay, so 50% of something is 4. 50% of 8. Half of 8 is 4, because I did the opposite of halving, which is timesing by 2. 10% of something is 10. What's the opposite of, to find 10% you divide by 10. The opposite of dividing by 10 is to times by 10. 1% of something is 7, so the opposite of finding 1% is to times by 100. So 7 times 100 is 700. Okay, true or false? Well, I know half of 70 is 35. Divide by 2. And 10% divided by 10 is 70. So this is definitely false. I had to work out this answer, and they're not the same. So it's false. And the last true or false question. Well, 1/10 of 60 is 6. 60 divided by 10. And 10% of 60, i.e. divide by 10, is also 6. So this one is true. Right, so that's the end of my teaching. Well done for getting to the end of the video. This is the work that I've set for you today. Turn to your booklet 10. You're going to turn to page 4, which looks like this. Okay, you've got your key facts here again, and you're going to do the 6 questions. Okay, so exercise 10C, these 4 questions, and turn over these 2, this question here. And then 7 onwards is optional extra work. Okay, so I've put that on show my homework, and well done. Looking forward to getting your work emailed to me or on show my homework, and have a good day.